start, let's come down on our mat and come into so just supine, so on your back. And when I come down, I like lift my hips so I can lengthen my tailbone and just feel some engagement, some lift here of the core. And similarly, lift my rib cage so I can settle my shoulders underneath me. And then you can keep your knees bent if you like. If you prefer to have long legs, that is also fine. As we just come into our breath, let's use that as a means of coming into our interior space. With the slight noise from my computer is recharging and just making a little beep. I'm sorry about that. So just come into your breath. Have one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly, so that as you start to deepen the breath and activate your diaphragmatic breathing, you can notice the movement. So as I inhale, it's lungs and ribs and belly expand. And as I exhale, belly draws in, ribs draw in, chest draws in, right? So it's kind of this nice flow, not unlike a wave. The diaphragm is located in the middle, under near the bottom of our rib cage, and it connects all the way around the body. So as you're breathing, you can notice, you probably right away notice the movement in the top of your body, and then see if you notice the movement in the side of your body. And then see if you can notice too that the inhalation really your back fills too, right? So it's almost like you lift a little bit off the mat with the breath. And then
Andrea,
yes.
question. That beep is really loud and it comes constantly. It's almost impossible to hear you consistently with the beep coming. I just turned my noise back. I just turned my sound down.
I really apologize. There's with this computer, there's nothing I can do. It's really annoying. And I don't know, but there's nothing I can do about it.
Maybe you could move yourself closer to the computer, because as it is now, it's hard to hear you with the beep.
I will try that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, of course. Apologies for that. I made the mistake of not powering it before class. Yeah. All right. So, just continuing. So I am gonna. The reason I'm talking about the breath at length is that the breath is a tool to our management of our core. So when we inhale, the diaphragm, so this thing that is banded all around, presses down towards our pelvic floor when we inhale, and everything fills up. And then when we exhale, the diaphragm draws back up to its location. So its contraction is on the inhale. It's activating on the inhale. So like a bicep curl, it's like the diaphragm, when I curl like that, that's what the diaphragm's doing when it moves down. And then when it releases back up, it's releasing, it's lengthening eccentrically. So, and the diaphragm is very subtle. So we feel more the action of the rib movement and the belly movement than we precisely feel the action of the diaphragm. Beeping stop, let's pray. Oh no, it started again, sorry. And then I want to connect it to the pelvic floor. So our pelvic floor, which is really kind of the bottom of us here, that also has a parachute-like a floor to it. And what happens is when I inhale, the diaphragm pushes down and the pelvic floor pushes down. When I exhale, both draw up. And you can increase your awareness of the pelvic floor And you may have done Kegels at some point in your life. So that I want you to start to have the idea of when I inhale and everything fills in, the air really fills into down here into my lower belly, transverse abdominis area. Then when I exhale, the pelvic floor tugs up as I draw my core muscles up and in. So just a couple more like that, just a big inhale, and then deep exhale, and deep exhale. So that's how the breath really activates the whole core. Now we'll get into some motion with that. So let's have our arms down by our side, and we are going to take our arms up and over as we come into bridge. So now if your legs weren't bent, bend your legs, put your feet underneath your knees, arms down by your side, so I can almost tickle my heels. And when I inhale, I'm going to push my feet down, float my arms up as my hamstrings, quadriceps, glutes, and core lift me up. Chest chases my chin at the top. And then exhale and float back down. So that's our action. I'm going to inhale up. Exhale down. Keep going at your pace. So you might be faster or slower than me, and that is fine. Just be in your body and with your motion. So feel how hips and shoulders stay square. So sometimes you might hear people talk about the box, which is shoulders to hips. And the shoulders and hips are partners of supporting our core action throughout the day. A couple more. One more. All right, relax everything down. Now, throughout everything we're doing now, unless I tell you differently, you do have a curve in your lower back, right? So I'm not taking myself into a pelvic tilt, right? So let me see if you can see. So you may or may not see the curve. You can see my hand going underneath me. So there I've got a curve. And then here I've taken the curve away, right? With going into a pelvic tilt. So we want to basically keep the curve. So I want to be lying on the ground in the same position I would be if I was standing. So I like to activate and train the core just as I will use the core when I'm standing. So leave your lumbar spine curve in place. Of course, your neck curve is in place. And we're going to add some challenge here. Really working the lower abdominals, which is the transverse abdominis that goes across hip bone, and then wraps around almost like a corset. So what I'd like you to do is inhale as you are now, and then exhale and just lift one leg till you're perpendicular with your thigh and parallel with your calf. So you're not pulled in like this, just lift it like that and then put it down. And then lift your right leg and put it down, and just alternate just like that. And hopefully what you're feeling is just a little bit of activation in these lower muscles, and you can have the idea in your head that I'm trying to pull these two hip bones together, even though they cannot move, but I'm just drawing my hip together, hugging my waist in, right? So just really having a lot of support in this core middle of me. I've got muscles in the front, muscles on the side, and muscles on the back, all of which are core strengtheners. Good. So just keep going just like that. Then we're going to add a challenge. Great. So here is the challenge. We're going to take one leg up in the air. And so I'm going to leave it here. So it's perpendicular and parallel. Then I'm going to take the other one up, perpendicular and parallel. And now you should feel a lot of activation right in here just to hold you like that. And you can see if you pulled in towards your chest, you would relieve the tension in the TVA. And if you pushed further away, it would be harder to hold this. So this is kind of a middle ground where I'm working to hold myself here. And now we're going to just do the opposite. I'm going to tap and snap back to this position, tap and snap back. So keep going just like that. Keep breathing. and that notion of hugging everything in. Keep going. Now, if this feels easy at all, you can add reaching a little further out with your legs. So if it's easy for you, you can add this. If it's not easy, just, if it's kind of, this is enough, continue with the taps. So you can do what suits you here. Keep breathing. Couple more. Great. Let's hug knees into chest. Whatever that's like for you, closer or a little further away, whatever it is for you is great. And just relax, maybe rock your sacrum a little bit. Great. So I'm introducing you I'm going to do 3 of my favorite supine core exercises to start to open today. So the next one has got some stages to it. I'm going to lengthen my left leg, and I want to bring my toes up. So I'm flexing that foot, pushing the heel away, really anchoring this hip down. Then I'm going to bring my right leg towards me, and I'm going to take my hand and grab either underneath it or on top of it. I kind of like to grab here. Some people like to grab here, and I'm holding this leg in. Next, I'm going to take my left hand and put it under my head. And I'm going to have my head is going to help to hold my head up. So I'm bringing my nose right towards my chest here. And notice too that all of the abdominals are also helping to hold up your head. So I can hold my head up with my abdominals and my neck, not just with my hand, but I can use my hand here, okay? And I want to look at my left toes. And then here's the action. I'm going to lift my left heel off the floor and just tap it up and down close to the ground. With the same notion of hugging my hips in, really drawing my waist in. So there's a lot of activation throughout the whole core system here. Front, side, and back. And this is one where I will often do it to fatigue. I won't do it to fatigue today, but I will often just do it to fatigue. But bearing in mind, I have to do my second side. So a couple more here. Great. Let's relax everything back. Lengthen out your right leg. Relax everything for a moment. Little mini savasana in between sides. Then draw your right toes up. Push the heel away. Feel really anchored in the whole leg system. Draw your left leg in. Left hand grabs left leg. Right hand behind head. Chin to chest. Nose towards chest. And then we're ready to go. So I'm going to hover my right leg and then just tap it up and down. So it's the weight of the leg is being supported by the whole abdominal and core system. It's important to recognize that our core is not just the front abdominal muscles, rectus abdominis and transverse abdominis. It's the whole system, including obliques and 3 different muscles on our back, so as quadratus lumborum and multifidus. Keep going. Breathe in. All right, let's relax everything down. Mini savasana, just be in your breath. So the next one I like, and start with legs long, because I want to do a gigantic bicycle, right? So as big as I can make it. So I want to actually use the length of my legs, right? So to start it, I'm going to I'm going to pull my right knee in and stretch it out and draw it down. So that's that's the range of motion I want on the bicycle, right? So I want to get I want to just, and then you can add both legs. So I'm just making this bicycle as big as I can. So you do you, and just whatever's comfortable. Some people are less comfortable with a straightened leg, and that's okay. You know, so you can, if you have more of a bend in the leg, that's okay. Keep going. I do tend to point the toes, but that's not required. And we're just going to bicycle and just feel the whole activation. I feel pretty much all of my core supporting this. And we're leaving our head down. It would be more challenging if I lifted my head either with the support of my hands or without it. That would add challenge. So if you want to add that challenge, you're welcome to it, but it's not required here. Plenty of work with my head down. A couple of more cycles through. All right, good. Hug my knees in. Great. So we're going to start. Let's come on to our side next. And I've got two choices. I can be here or here, whatever is most comfortable for me. But my shoulders are stacked and my hips are stacked, right? And one thing that what we do in Pilates is we line ourselves out along the back edge of our mat just to make sure that we're really stacked here. And bend your bottom leg underneath you to a 90 degree. And then my top leg, I'm just lifting till it's about hip height. And this is the action. I'm going to pull my knee in towards my face and then kick it away. And I'm specifically training a muscle in my lower back called quadratus lumborum, which is one of the pillars of support of the spine and core. And you even can put your hand on your lower back and you might feel that muscle contracting and releasing as you do this work. Let's have two more here. All right, good. So I always love this mini Savasana break. So just take this little mini Savasana break. Just see if you just notice what you notice. And I like, I believe yoga is really effective at increasing our body awareness. And increasing our body awareness is useful. Bend that bottom leg underneath you. We're ready to go second side. Lift up to the hip. So that knee comes in and I kick away. I'll finish my side after this. Last one. All right, great. Once again, mini Savasana. So I think that I find that increasing our body awareness, if we kind of learn how the core functions a little more deeply, then we can activate it and support us when we're doing our everyday life activities and stay safer in terms of, you know, nice supported back, and you know, kind of basically just supporting the whole system in a really effective way. All right, great. So we are going to come up from the ground now to a seat. So you have a couple of options. The easiest option would be to roll to your side and lift yourself up. Another option that is more core activating that you can take is to rock up. So however you like to do it is fine by me. And we're going to just sit for a lovely exercise here. You may sit in what we call this easy seat. But if this happens to not be comfortable for you, you can have your legs out, or in whatever configuration is comfortable. You even could do this, what we're going to do, you could even do it seated in a chair if you happen to not be uncomfortable on the ground. And some people like to support their knees with blocks, which is also an option here. So whatever is comfortable for you. We're gonna sit up nice and tall. Now, consciously today, I'm going to skip, there's a whole series of core exercises that are done in the all fours position, and I'm gonna skip those today. Bird dog like things. Okay, good. So you want to sit up nice and tall. And sometimes I notice when I first sit down, I'm not aware that I'm actually leaning forward a little bit. So I want to just be stacked shoulders over hips and really land my sits bones down into the ground. And there I'm sitting really upright. And for some people, if they just kind of end up being more like this when they sit up, some people find it useful to sit on something like a blanket or something, just put your hips on that, and it often kind of helps to straighten you up a little bit. So that can be comfortable, a comfortable option. All right, great. So let us see, inhale our arms up. And exhale and just stretch over to the right. I'm not mirroring you, I'm going to the right. My hand's gonna come down, maybe my elbow's gonna come down. And nice stretch of the obliques and whole side body here. Land the opposite hip down. So my hip's not rolling up. And then inhale up and exhale. Take me over to side two. Beautiful. And inhale up. Great. So we're going to take this into a twist that's very core activating. All right. So what I want to do is I'm going to inhale my arms up. And then when I exhale, I'm turning my shoulders and my rib cage to the right. And my left hand can catch my knee. And my right arm is back behind me. And I want to actually press my hand into my knee and really turn my shoulders as actively as I can away. And I should feel it pulling across my core when I'm doing this. So I'm actively turning the upper body away, right? And then we're going to add something to this. So keep with me. Just breathe here and be turned away super actively. Now, what we want to add is the following. I'm going to tell my core muscles to pull me to the left. So you can sort of feel where your belly button is. Sort of yank your belly, feel like there's a fish hook in your belly button and it's getting pulled this way, but my upper body's going to fight it and stay turned away. So I'm trying to activate my core to pull me around to the left while my upper body pulls me around. I mean, to the right? So there's an strong opposition being created here. And then if you want to add to the opposition, you don't have to. If you float your hands, you're adding to the opposition. Breathe, 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 breathe. All right, good. And then come back to center. And sit for a moment and just kind of notice all of that activation that just happened. All right, we'll go side two. So I'm going to inhale my arms up. I'm going to exhale, turning shoulders and rib cage to the left. Right hand on this knee, left hand back behind me, and just go ahead and really crank that turn. So I'm really trying to turn, breathing here. And then let's add that fish hook on the belly button. So my core is trying to pull me to the right. My upper body's trying to pull me to the left. So set up that battle, that opposition. Challenge of no hands. And then come back to center. All right, and just kind of wiggle and whoosh around a little bit and just feel how that feels. All right, great. So you notice we're building a lot of core and we haven't done a single sit-up because I don't believe in them. There's all kinds of brilliant ways we can find action in the core without those old-fashioned exercises. So, and now let us, let's take ourselves around to a forward fold. So you have a couple of options. So I'm going to, so if I want to use my blocks, and I'll demonstrate it with blocks, I can have my blocks here, and I'm just going to sort of take my legs around. I'm not going to be on my knees for very long. And then I want to put one foot underneath me, the other foot underneath me. I want to be hinged at the hip, bent at the knee, and I can have a flat back if that's important to me, or I could be more rounded. So take what works for you here into a forward fold, and just breathe and relax in the fold. And then inhale, flat back, half lift. So I keep my knees bent, I'm still hinged, but my shoulders and back ribs have lifted me up. Then exhale to lower down again. And then inhale and reverse one dive up. I will move so that you can see me. Great. I do have to move back a little bit so you can see all of me. I know we still have a little noise that will hopefully, keep hoping it stops with this computer. Actually, let me just look really quick at something. Nope, I'm stuck with this problem. Okay, all right. I will speak up. All right, so let's stand here. So I'm going to find my feet underneath me. And I talked about this in the first week when we focused on posture. But just as a reminder, if you let your tailbone poop up in the back, my core just slacks off. It just relaxes. If I lengthen my tailbone, and the other way to think about it is if I lift my hip bones up, I feel a real turning on of these muscles to draw up towards my chest, right? And I mentioned there's a real relationship between the shoulders and the core, right? So if my shoulders droop, which it can droop because I'm working or whatever, then everything's really slack and relaxed and falling. But if I roll my shoulders back, arm bones into the socket, and lift my chest, that also lifts my core, right? So just whatever cue means the most to you. For some people, if I just say lift their chest, they activate their core. For some people, if I say lengthen their tailbone, it activates their core. So whatever cue has the most meaning for you, hold on to that cue. So that you feel really elevated and really engaged throughout, right? And you can still breathe. I can still inhale and exhale and still feel engaged in the entire core area all the way around. All right, great. So let us do an exercise that is focused on working the side muscles here. So you can be standing hip width apart, put your hands together, and then bring them up and over your head. And inhale here, then I'm going to exhale and I'm going to just lean to the right. I'm going to inhale, I'm going to exhale and lean to the left. And that's the action. And I'm going to soften my knees a little bit. And it is easiest here. And then if I stepped closer together and put my feet right next to each other, it adds a little bit of challenge. You can see my bow legs, but my feet are together. So I'm going to inhale here. I'm going to exhale and dip. Inhale, exhale, and dip. Keep going. And then you're going to find the pace that suits you. I'm going to pick up my pace a little bit. The breath gets a little shorter and faster. More. All right. Lower my arms down. You can step apart if you step together. All right, beautiful. Let's come into a standing series now. So I'm going to stand at the front of my mat, and I am standing hip width apart here. I'm going to inhale and grow taller. And then when I exhale, I'm going to step my right foot back and bend my knee, come into a warrior two position. So I'm going to tee out my arms. Traditionally, I would look out over my front arm, which is my left arm, this is my right arm. But today, I'd like you to just look straight ahead, maybe at me. And what we're going to do is flip your hands up. And then catching up with our breath, let's inhale and bring our arms up. And then exhale and lower our arms down. That's the flow for a few. One more time. Beautiful. And so our shoulders are basically in line with the long edge of our mat, but our hip is wherever it's comfortable for us. So my hips end up being about here. Some people might be a little bit more forward. Other people might be a little bit more open this way. But we're not asking anything specific of our hips. They just kind of land where they land when I put my legs like this. I should always like to emphasize that. So let's inhale back into warrior two, looking forward. And then let's exhale, reverse warrior. So my left arm comes up, my right arm goes down. I'm looking up at my left hand and just have a cycle of breath here. And let's inhale our arms up, straighten our front leg. We're going to go into triangle. So I'm going to exhale, and I want to reach forward with my left arm as I lower my torso down. So I'm not just dropping down, I'm reaching out, lengthening my whole body. And then my hand is going to reach my leg wherever it does. And everybody would be different. And if you like to land a hand on a block, you can do that as well. And just get here and breathe. So your torso is open to the long edge of your mat. Your hips are still comfortably wherever they were comfortable. And then let's inhale to come up and exhale and reverse. Let's inhale our arms up and then just turn your toes so you're facing the long edge of your mat. Bring your hands together, Anjali Mudra, in front of your heart. So you're standing a little bit wider apart. I do like to have soft knees as opposed to hyperextended knees, and just breathe here. Now we're going to just turn our feet to get to side two. So I'm just turning my right foot and my left. Good, 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 good. I just saw something on my computer I need to adjust. Great. So right foot forward, left foot wherever is comfortable for me. So it's basically a 45-degree angle, but everybody's a little bit different there. Hips are comfortable. And then inhale, arm bones are in the arm sockets. Inhale, look forward for a moment. Then exhale and turn to me palms. Inhale, float arms up. Exhale. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then inhale, looking forward. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Let's inhale our arms up, straighten that front leg. Exhale, reach, reach, reach over into your triangle. So your hand lands on your leg wherever it does, wherever it is for you. You may not be as low as me. That's perfectly fine. Breathe here. And then inhale, arms up. Exhale to reverse. And then inhale, arms up, turn again to the front of your mat, and exhale, hands in front of my heart. And then we're gonna add on. So I'm gonna turn my left foot, adjust my right foot. Let's inhale here. Let's exhale right into reverse warrior. Let's inhale our arms up and exhale into triangle. And this time, see if you can look up at your top hand. It adds a balance challenge here, which is great for the core. And breathe here. And then inhale, come back up, bend your knee, exhale, reverse. And then inhale your arms up, straighten your leg again. I'm going to take you into a high triangle, and we're going to switch our feet side to side. So you'll watch this. So what's going to happen is you can watch me for one. I'm going to inhale, stand tall. I'm going to exhale, high triangle to the left. I'm going to inhale up. I'm going to switch my feet and exhale, high triangle to the right. So there's the action with this feet switching. And same thing, you can do it slower or faster. Pick your tempo. Beautiful long body. One more time. Take me back to side, the first side. Bend my knee, exhale, reverse. Inhale, turn to the long edge of my mat. Exhale, in front of my heart, little rest. Inhale, exhale, turn my feet into reverse warrior, side 2. Inhale, my arms up, straighten my leg. Exhale, takes me over into triangle, wherever it is for me. Try looking up at the hand, balance challenge here. On this side is harder for me. Inhale, come up, exhale, reverse. And let's inhale, straighten my leg. We're going to do the side to side, starting on this side, starting on the right side. So inhale, tall, exhale, high right. Inhale, switch my feet, exhale, high left. Keep going. Time to return. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale to reverse warrior. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, facing the front. All right, we got one more segment to add, a little balance pose. Inhale here. Exhale, reverse, going towards the left. So we add everything on. So inhale, my arms straight, my leg. Exhale over into triangle. We're not going to stay as long. Inhale up. Exhale to reverse. Inhale up, straight my leg. Exhale, we're just going to take this side of the high triangle. Inhale up. Exhale to reverse. Inhale my arms up. Now exhale, I'm going to turn to face the short edge of my mat. My hips haven't changed very much, but I'm facing here. Let's catch up with an inhale. Now I'm going to exhale into warrior 3. So you've got 3 options with the arms. This is the hardest. This is next. And then this is the easiest version here. I have a weak left ankle, so I'm going to choose to do warrior 3 here. So I'm going to inhale, grow taller. I'm going to exhale and come forward. And I'm trying to see if I can lift this leg up, keeping, and then the hip does square here. Okay. So I'm trying to lift this leg, the right leg up and come forward as far as I can. Again, I've got a weak left ankle, so this is, I'll be a better demonstration on side 2 for me. But something like that. You can then inhale up and exhale to reverse. Ankles take a while to recuperate. All right. And then inhale, arms up, exhale. Facing long edge of my mat. Great. Inhale here, exhale to turn and reverse warrior on the right. Inhale, arms up straight, like exhale, triangle, not as long. Inhale, back up, exhale to reverse. Inhale up, exhale, this very high triangle to the right. Inhale up, exhale to reverse. A little quicker now. Inhale up, facing the front edge of my mat. So my choices of where I want my arms are still in play. And I'll keep them here. And then I'm going to inhale, grow taller. And then exhale takes me forward into my warrior three. So whatever it is for you. So this coming to this kind of parallel is an option if it works for you, but you don't have to come that low, right? And then inhale back up. Let's exhale to reverse. And then inhale, arms up, exhale, come to the front of your mat. Great. The heel toe in and just kind of shake everything out. Take a break there. Now let us come to the front of our mat. And if I would like my blocks to be available, I can put them here again. So I'm going to inhale and grow taller. And then exhale. And inhale, my arms come up. Maybe I take a little back bend. Exhale, forward fold. So my hands come to my block, or I go further down, wherever I like it. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Then I'm going to put my hands on the mat and step me back to a plank position. So inhale in your plank. And just breathe here. Beautiful. And then you can just put your knees down for a moment. Keep your toes tucked. Let's inhale up into a down dog. For that first down dog of the day. So let's inhale all the way up. And then pedal your dog. So your chest is melting towards your thigh. Your hips are pushing back and up and away. And your head is super relaxed and neck and arms are strong. Weight is even between in my hands and in my feet. And then stop pedaling and inhale. Just be fully in your dog. Open your mouth and exhale. Great. Now I'm going to inhale forward to a plank again and exhale to my dog. So a little flow here. Inhale to my plank. Exhale, dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, dog. Then inhale to my plank. Now next I'm going to lower myself to the ground. So I can do a full chaturanga, I can do a half chaturanga, or I can put my knees down and put my chest down, which would be the easiest way to get down. So I'll demonstrate the easiest today. So the easiest is knees down, put my chest down and push through, right? And I'll just go back up to demonstrate a full chaturanga. So those are some options. Untuck my toes, hands are underneath my shoulders. Inhale for cobra, so I can come up a little bit. I can come up higher, feel the core engagement there, back bend there. Exhale, back down. Beautiful. And now let's come to child's pose. If this is comfortable for you, it's not comfortable for everybody. So I'm going to separate my knees, feet together, and slide my hips back. And there I am in child's pose. If that works for you, if it doesn't work for you, then don't take it, right? Just sit comfortably and rest for a moment. We're going to just have a couple of cycles of breath. Beautiful. Then we're going to work our way around to coming on back onto supine. Let me just yes, we'll come supine. All right. So once again, do those checks that we did, right? So lengthen your tailbone, settle your shoulder blades, and keep the curves. Curve of my neck, of course, curve of my lumbar spine. And and my knees can be bent. Just come back into your breath here as we started. And just kind of notice how your core feels now. Come into some spinal twists. So let us hug our knees in to our chest, whatever that is like for me, however close that is for me. And inhale here. And then I'm going to exhale, and I'm going to drop my knees to the left. And I'm going to tee out my arms, and I'm looking at you at the moment. And then what I want to do is, because I'm sort of, my head is turned towards my knees right now, I want to roll my head all the way around and look out over my right hand. I'm going to turn my head to make sure you can hear me. Roll your head around to look out over your right hand to complete the spinal twist, okay? So go ahead and get into that position. We'll breathe here and just relax. Feel what you feel in the hip system, in the core system, in the shoulder system, as you breathe and relax here. So let's come back to center. So bring your knees in, hug them in again. And this time I'm going to drop my knees to the right and tee out my arms and roll my head around. So I'm looking out over my left hand and just breathe here. You can flutter your eyes closed once you're there. We're going to just relax and breathe in this stretch, noticing whatever I notice in the whole system, and breathe. Center. Maybe rock your sacrum a little bit. And I like to do this. Feet on either side of your mat. So I'm feeling the edge of my mat with my feet. And I'm going to drop my knees from side to side. So we call this windshield wipering my knees. And I find this super relaxing for my core after I've been working it, right? Because I'm just kind of stretching, letting the core stretch inside of this knee action. Just nice and easy. Arching towards Savasana. So now you can come into happy baby, if you like happy baby, or any kind of final movement your body feels like it wants before we relax in a few moments of Savasana to integrate the practice. And then as you're getting ready for Savasana, this time of year, I prefer to put my wrap back on. So if you've taken some layers off, you might want to put the layers back on. If you have a blanket, sometimes people like to pull a blanket over themselves for a little extra coziness in Savasana. But let's go ahead and come down on the ground. This time, lengthen your legs and really consciously kind of just flounce your feet, right? So your feet do not have a job here to either flex or point. Lengthen your tailbone, settle those shoulders down, and then a couple of options on the arms. I can be palms up right by my side. That really lets my shoulders ease back towards the mat. Arm bone in the socket here. Or once I've done that, I can put a hand on my chest and a hand on my belly, which I often really enjoy, so that I can come into my breath once again. And after the practice, when my breath might have shortened somewhat, let's invite the breath to lengthen here. So we take ourselves into Savasana. So I would like a nice expansive inhalation. But I can allow my exhalation to be a little more passive than when I'm really working those core muscles, right? Like in that turning we did when we were seated, right? That was a little more active. Here I can just be a little more passive in my exhalation. Just notice and feel what the muscles naturally do. And just take a tour of your transverse abdominis between your hips and around the back. Your rectus abdominis, the so-called six-pack muscle that goes from the pelvic floor, pubic bone up to the ribs. The obliques on the side that can cross and are on the side. And then more subtly, quadratus lumborum, which we work psoas, and multifidus, which is sewn right into muscles, right into the spine, right into the vertebrae, all of which are key pillars of support. So just be in your breath, and I'm going to quiet down so we can have a few moments of stillness for Savasana. wiggling into stretching of your limbs and see if you can stretch your core along with your limbs, reaching legs and arms away enough to really stretch. And as I suggested, we've got two options to come to a seat. I can roll to one side and take my time to get up, or I can activate my core by rocking in to rock up. And if I like the rocking, I can do a little spinal massage and rock up and down a couple of times if I like that notion. And then we're going to meet up seated. Again, comfortably, whatever a comfortable seat is for you. Could be cross-legged, could be stretched out. And sometimes I like actually to kneel on a block. So for interest's sake, I'll demonstrate that. So I'm just kind of just kneeling on a block. Sometimes I like that. And let's be, once again, really stacked so my shoulders are right over my hips, right? So I'm really, torso is very lengthened and crown is reaching. My hands are down on my knees, palms down or palms up, whatever I prefer. And maybe flutter your eyes closed, and let's have 3 final breaths together. So I'm going to inhale through my nostril, then I'm going to open my mouth and I'm going to exhale and sigh it out. Super relaxing sigh. Inhale through my nostril. Exhale, relax all the muscles on that sigh, and then inhale nostril and exhale. Beautiful. Thank you for joining me for this core focus practice today. Namaste.
Namaste.